What is that they say in Spinal Tap? It's a fine line between clever and stupid.
I'm having fun! Oh boy, we've only been riding for 3.5 minutes. No fenders? Fenders.
So this ride is the day before all the snow came, and it was very typical of what's been going on with my late November, early December rides. More just 10 to 15 mile type things where I kind of have an errand to run and I'm looking for an excuse to get on the bike. The weather really turned fast. It went from really rainy and kind of miserable to very, very cold for November. So I've been finding reasons to get out, but the long, big rides have not been happening as much. And then this was on Friday evening, the day after we got all the snow. Erin had got her CAD 3 back together, which is her winter bike, so a lot like mine, she has a vintage mountain bike with studded tires, 45 North Grabdells just like I have, and wanted to do a little bit of ride to test it out and get out in the snow again, kind of like I said in the last video, get her snow legs back. We were riding along, everything was going good, and then her saddle fell off. It turns out she had used some different bolts, and we think like the head-on one was a little too small and ended up slipping through. It must have just kind of been locked in place from the tension for a little while. So we were joking that she had a little bit of a 2-mile ride of shame back to the trailhead. She had actually met me down at the trailhead though, so she didn't have to like climb up out of the valley or anything. So I headed on to where we were meeting for dinner. She rode back to the car and then drove over and met me there. So a couple snow rides in the books. We'll see what the rest of the season brings.
Hey, what is up everybody? So just this fall when me and Dylan were riding the OCA in New York, we were coming back from dinner and I had used the Model Infinity tools to attach his pizza to my rack. Model saw that and they said, what you need is our OmniLink stud. So you could attach, 4 connection points on the Infinity tools. You've seen me use these a bunch if you watch the channel and I love them. Well, I wanted to get this wheel set up tubeless at the bike shop, and I realized that if I use the OmniLink and 4 of the Infinity tools, I could strap it on like a backpack. Well, I think, that's the theory. So let's see if that works and head over to Dirty River. Hey, if it works. It's like having a headrest, you know? So I'm doing something I never do. Woo! I'm riding into the hardest headwind of my life. No, that wasn't supposed to be it. Oh man, I only looked at the temp being not that bad. Not the fact that there were crazy wind gusts. Let's start this over. So I am doing something I never do and I would never recommend. I'm riding with no bags. I just wanted to get to the shop before they closed. Took the bags off to have on other bikes. So I'm winging it. It's only a couple miles. So whatever. What I did though is I do need to pick up some stuff at the shop and I do want to bring my straps back. So I used another Infinity tool and strapped and used that bag to my top tube. I just feel real creative today, I guess. The other good thing about this setup is if I get in any kind of accident and fall over, I just ball up and roll away like Sonic the Hedgehog. Seriously, no joke about the wind though. I'm going downhill on the bridge and I can barely move.
So after I dropped my wheel at the shop, Ben happened to be getting off work right then with the timing. So we headed over to Missing Falls Brewing. We ended up meeting up with a bunch of our other bike friends and hung out and just had like a good time chatting and catching up. Then I was heading home, and that was the end of another ride that would probably turned out to be 13, 14 miles roughly. On Sunday, the weather was completely different. There was a high of 50, and with the sun out, it was just crazy how warm that actually felt after having all these days in the 20s. I mean, I was pulling off layers left and right. I actually kind of wished I didn't have my tights on, so just a dramatic change over. It's just amazing how quick you get acclimated to the different temperatures and then how much it changes the clothing thing. It's interesting in the last video where I was talking about clothing, and the last two videos really, some people had mentioned how they'll even kind of mark down what temperature certain clothes work at. I was saying how that actually wouldn't work for me because with how you get acclimated, it just changes over time. So I've said this before, but I feel like, November you get some of that cold weather. I'm wearing more clothes than I will be in February when it's 10, 15, maybe even 20 degrees colder. We were heading out in the direction of Kent. We were surprised by how much snow there was still on parts of the bike and hike, and then on the way back we took the Freedom Trail. Kent must have just got more snow than us, but another thing I've been talking about in the comments, it really seems like this last lake effect snow storm hit people so different depending on where exactly you were. Our stop on this day was Bent Tree Coffee. Got some macchiatos and some snacks before heading on a little bit farther down the Portage Hike and Bike Trail. There was even more snow out on this part as we got even farther east. It was kind of that day, though, where the ground was already warmed up and the air was warmed up, so you don't really feel too nervous. I mean, you got to pay attention, but, I didn't mind. Neither of us really minded not having the studded tire bikes as, probably 85% of the ride didn't have snow on it. And like I said, these parts that did, you still feel like the rubber's contacting the road. So yeah, we decided to come a different way back. Since we came out on the hike and bike, we went home on the Freedom Trail, back through downtown Akron, then actually dropped into the valley down to the towpath and took the towpath back. As you'll see, the towpath now had melted and it was a complete mess. It made me feel really good about having the full fenders on the Gunnar for a ride like this. Erin has her clip-on on, but she got pretty covered in grit, and it was wet and dirty enough that even with the fenders, my bike still needed a pretty good clean after the ride. So yeah, it turned out to be about an 80-mile week for me, which is nothing crazy, but since probably late October, I haven't had anything that big. So felt good to get some more riding in. As I'm recording this on Monday morning, it is just pouring rain out. So today is not going to be a ride. I'm not going to test the rain cape out yet, but that will be a thing that happens. Anyways, thanks as always for watching. I appreciate all the support. If you want to support us some more, we do have channel memberships available, and we have a little sticker store down below, and I do have some new items coming soon, so probably right after the holidays. Thanks as always for watching. I will see you in the next one. Peace.